Tonight, Toronto police officers pay tribute to a fallen comrade.
And mentoring me and helping me to become a better person.
Remembering Constable Jeffrey Northrup, who died in the line of duty on Friday. Plus,
just seeing my friends, playing soccer again, like just doing a lot of stuff with my family.
The race to get kids ready for a safe return to school in the fall. Starting tomorrow, teens can book their second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. And
it's very important that we try to infuse some of that energy back. This is a good way to do it, through food.
A vibrant cultural celebration to help revive a community. The first Afro-Caribbean farmers market kicks off in Toronto's Little Jamaica.
This is CBC Late Night News.
Good evening, I'm Marivelle Tarouk. A solemn procession this afternoon through the streets of Toronto for a fallen police officer killed on Friday. The body of Constable Jeffrey Northrup was transported from the Ontario Coroner's Office to the Kane Jarrett Funeral Home in Thornhill. Dahlia Ashry has more on how the police veteran is being remembered.
Attention! Salute!
A sorrowful Sunday afternoon as the body of Toronto Police Constable Jeffrey Northrup was transported to a funeral home in Thornhill. Toronto police officers and residents in the area lined the streets to pay their respects.
I was heartbroken to think that something horrible like this had happened.
So senseless. There's no reason for it, you know.
Northrup was killed after being struck by a car on Friday in a parkade near Bay and Queen Streets. Investigators called it an intentional and deliberate act.
Devastated. Absolutely devastated, because he is such a wonderful man.
I found him to be a gentle giant, and his smile is unbelievable.
Outside the forest, Constable Northrup was a scouter. His fellow Brampton scouters now left grieving the loss of a friend and leader.
I just want him to know that I appreciate what he did for me personally and mentoring me and helping me to become a better person.
Longtime friend Donald Ford says Northrup was not only his mentor, but a role model to the youth as well.
I never remember seeing Jeff upset, and modeling that behavior is so important for the youth to see that, yes, you can deal with a stressful situation and remain calm.
Northrup started his policing career as a court officer and was working out of 52 Division in the Major Crime Unit. The 31-year veteran was a father of 3, a husband and son. Crystal Jones is the wife of a police officer and president of Toronto Beyond the Blue, an organization that supports members of Toronto Police Service and their families.
Being able to provide these families with a community of support that understands and is compassionate to the struggles that they go through every time that door locks behind them is so important to exist, not just for the officers, but for their families.
31-year-old Omar Zamir has been charged with first-degree murder in connection with Northrup's death and appeared in court on Friday. He was remanded into custody until his next court appearance on July 23rd. An obituary on the funeral home's website says donations in Northrup's name can be made to the Brampton Special Olympics or to a charity of choice. And details for the visitation and service are still being finalized. Dahlia Ashry, CBC News, Toronto.
A 16-year-old boy is dead after a shooting in Scarborough. Police say they found the teen suffering from serious injuries and located bullet shells nearby. It happened on Saturday just after 6 p.m. near Kennedy and the 401. The victim has been identified as Caden Francis of Toronto. He is the city's 35th homicide victim of the year. They're asking anyone with information to come forward. And police are looking for 3 suspects after a 32-year-old man was killed in an apartment lobby. The victim is Siobhan Jones. At a press conference on Saturday, his family appealed for any information that could help with the investigation.
Soraya is 10 years old. You took away an exemplary father. You took away an amazing son,
a brother, an uncle, a cousin.
Police say 3 suspects walked up an apartment building in Flemington Park on Friday and opened fire. Jones was killed and 2 other people were shot. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. And Toronto police say they have responded to a number of collisions this weekend and are reminding drivers to obey the rules of the road. Police say during the summer months, speeding is often a factor that leads to collisions. And with patio season in full swing and the city entering stage 2 of reopening, they're also reminding drivers never to drink and drive.
Unfortunately, throughout the city of Toronto this weekend, we've had several collisions throughout the city, and some of it unfortunately has been fatalities.
Early this morning, a 23-year-old man died after his vehicle was hit by a TTC bus. Police say the driver entered the intersection on a red light and was struck by the bus. It happened at Kingston Road and Port Union in Scarborough. And in Brampton on Saturday, 1 person died after a collision that happened near Here, Ontario and Sandalwood. Police say the cars collided and both went off the road from the impact. One knocked down an electricity pole. 1 person died and 2 others were taken to hospital. As COVID-19 cases continue to decline, Canada is taking its first big step to more open travel. Starting tomorrow, Canadians and permanent residents fully vaccinated with a Health Canada approved vaccine will be able to skip the 14-day quarantine. That is, as long as they follow the new rules being put in place. Travelers still need a negative test ahead of arrival, as well as to log their vaccination details and test information on the ArriveCan app or web portal. And while normal vacations may be a ways away, travelers say after 16 months of rigid rules, the changes bring some relief.
Because otherwise I wouldn't have traveled. You know, it just makes traveling a lot easier. It takes a lot of pressure off.
I think we've put in our time in regards to doing everything we need to do, so I think we deserve this now.
Currently, travel restrictions between Canada and the U.S. are set to expire on July 21st, but the Prime Minister has said it's too soon to say how the rules might evolve by then. The first AfroCaribbean farmers market launched in Little Jamaica today. Organizers hope it will increase foot traffic to an area that's been ravaged not only by COVID-19 closures, but the decade-long construction of the LRT. Dale Manukduk has more on what it means for the community.
Lori Beezer is over the moon seeing a year-long vision come to life.
Amazing. What word? I mean, amazing. It's been a long time coming.
The Afro-Caribbean Farmers Market is in the heart of Little Jamaica. The food, the music, the culture, a celebration for local residents.
It's like long overdue. This community's been thriving for over 35, 40 years.
Oh my gosh, it's bringing that vibration back from like the 80s. It's bringing it back.
The area has faced additional challenges compared to others in Toronto. Piling on top of COVID-19 restrictions, construction to the Eglinton Crosstown LRT.
We're not talking 10 days, 10 weeks, 10 months, it's 10 years. And we've lost over 200 businesses. So right now, for us, it's very important that we try to infuse some of that energy back. This is a good way to do it, through food.
The York-Eglinton Business Improvement Area says traffic locally has declined roughly 70% since the pandemic.
It's been really tough for this neighborhood. So we want to show everybody that we're back. We wanted to bring the community together through this market, and we're inviting the whole city to come down and join us.
The farmers market gives young black entrepreneurs like Michaela Malcolm, who runs a cheesecake company with her mom and sister, some much needed exposure.
We love to give back to the community. It not only builds the capacity of the businesses that are participating, but it provides people in the GTA with a place to shop local and Black-owned.
And for Alexander Fields, founder of a Southern U.S. and African fusion barbecue restaurant, it's a dream come true.
Something I've looked to take part in throughout the city for almost a year now, trying to get into different farmers markets and people not letting me in. But these guys actually, they reached out to me and they asked me to participate, which was really cool.
Beezer says the farmers market is just the start of Little Jamaica's renaissance.
More to come. Stay tuned. 2022, We're going to block off the street.
The market is running every Sunday until October 3rd. Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
This was the first weekend in Ontario under the province's Step 2 framework for reopening. And for a lot of people, this weekend couldn't come soon enough.
Just being out on the town, being able to sit on a patio and have a beer in a restaurant and have a nice meal, it really is good for the soul.
It's refreshing. It's nice to see the faces again. You know what I mean? It's been a year and a bit, I guess, a year and a half almost of isolation, and you know what I mean? Seeing people out on the patios and shopping and having fun. And
the province entered Step 2 of its reopening plan on Wednesday. Among the changes, salons and barber shops are now open at 25% capacity. And as one hair salon owner explained, it's been an exciting time, not just for businesses, but for their communities too.
Having the outdoor patios open and having the liveliness of these couple of blocks for us has been incredible. And our clients are just, honestly, they're just wonderful. They walk in and they are saying things like, we're so glad that we're open again. Like, they include themselves in that, it really does feel like we're a huge community and it's finally restored. It feels like, a little bit of life has been put back into this neighborhood.
Outdoor concerts and theaters are now allowed with specific capacity limits, along with amusement parks and water parks. More than 35% of adults in Ontario are fully vaccinated. But reopening is slowed in the Waterloo region because of a surge in cases of the Delta variant. Live look at the Toronto skyline tonight. Environment Canada has issued a wide-ranging heat warning for Toronto and the GTA that's expected to last through to Tuesday. So Sophia is here with more detail on that. I'm almost afraid to ask, but how hot are we expecting?
Well, at least we have the sunshine. It helps with all that normalcy we just talked about, but not so much the heat and humidity, right? Yeah, Tuesday it will be broken, but until then, it is going to be feeling like the mid-40s. Maryville right now, we're at 21 degrees. Heat warnings in effect for a wide swath of those of you around the GTA. Make sure you check in with any of those most vulnerable and susceptible to heat-related illness. This is why temperatures that feel into the mid-40s right across the board for Monday. It was similar today, but it really gets pumped up for tomorrow. It's that heat dome that we've been hearing about in Western Canada. It is slowly moving over top of us right now. There will be little or no relief into the overnight period as well, but temperatures that feel into the mid-30s. Now, it all gets broken with the cold front, the passage of that cold front on Tuesday. But before that, Monday afternoon and evening, that water on the pot is prime and ready to boil over with the threat of some storms in through the afternoon and evening. Wide swath of the GTA is under a severe thunderstorm sort of outlook by us here at the Weather Network. It's going to be isolated in nature, but if you do have a storm pop up both Monday and Tuesday along that cold front, you could see the really heavy rain, high winds, and even hail. Now, coming up in the long range, I'll tell you about how it gets cooler and more refreshing on Wednesday, but it comes with rain. Maribel?
Okay, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thanks, Sophia.
Okay. No problem.
While restrictions continue to loosen province-wide as COVID-19 cases remain low, one First Nation community is seeing a major surge in COVID-19 cases and has been forced to enact stricter measures. Saugeen First Nation is located along the Saugeen River and Bruce Peninsula. As of today, it recorded 94 cumulative COVID-19 cases over the span of 2 weeks. This is what the First Nation Band Councillor and Health Committee Chair said in a video update posted to YouTube about the situation in his community.
At this point in time, we will be putting a call out to the Canadian Armed Forces for further assistance through this period of time. For band residents, we are asking everybody to stay at home for a period of 2 weeks and to avoid any gatherings of any kind.
The Chief and Band Council will reassess on July 15th to determine if the order should remain in place or be lifted to allow services and businesses to reopen. A long-term care home in Burlington is dealing with a COVID-19 outbreak. The village of Tansley Woods reported 17 active cases as of yesterday. 16 residents and 1 team member have tested positive for the Delta variant. The general manager of the home told CBC News in an email that public health officials attended on Friday to conduct an independent infection prevention and testing audit. Currently, 86% of team members have received their first dose. The home will be holding a mobile vaccination clinic on Wednesday to continue vaccinating staff and residents. The City of Toronto marked several public beaches unsafe earlier this week due to dangerous E. coli levels in the water. According to the city's website, Sunnyside Beach, Center Island Beach, and Bluffers Beach Park are currently deemed unsafe for swimming. It's a problem that experts say could get worse thanks to climate change. Jessica Ng has the story.
Since there's a lot of stuff at Center Island, we may not go in the water. It's not a good idea to go swimming because there's bacteria in there.
Several of Toronto Island's beaches have been deemed unsafe for swimming due to high levels of E. coli, marked with red and yellow flags like this one at Sunnyside Beach. And even kids know that means stay out, because exposure to E. coli bacteria can spell trouble.
They can get sick, and that would be really bad.
The City of Toronto has some of the highest standards for swimming water in the country, and they test water samples from the 11 public beaches daily. More than 100 E. coli bacteria per 100 milliliters of water means the beach is designated unsafe.
E. coli is what we call indicator bacteria, which basically, if they show up, there will be more serious virus or bacteria around in the water body.
Cherry Beach just fell under that threshold this past week, testing right at 100. In Hamilton, Pier 4 Park was determined to be unsafe for water activities, and Bayfront Park remains closed due to a history of poor water quality.
So if those are dirty, there's no point of coming out. We all need to be very careful because end of the day, all matters is your health, right?
Exposure to E. coli could cause skin irritation, but ingesting it could cause stomach cramps, vomiting, and even fever. And experts say that climate change will mean more E. coli in the future.
The rainstorm actually washed the land, all the road and surfaces, and whatever the dirt accumulate on it, including human garbage and also feces of animal, these are all washed during and after a rainstorm into the receiving water like in our lakes and rivers.
Add on to that increasing urban sprawl. Experts say highly urbanized areas create the perfect conditions for thunderstorms, which equate to more bacteria like E. coli in our water system.
That's why we have to prepare to lessen the effect of the climatic change by heavily investing on our infrastructure, like treatment, and also reduce the runoff into our water.
For now, the City of Toronto says to check their website before you plan a summer swim at one of the city's 11 public beaches. Jessica Ng, CBC News, Toronto.
The push to get young people fully vaccinated in Ontario is underway, and tomorrow teens can book their second dose of a COVID-19 vaccine through the provincial booking system. CBC's Dahlia Ashry has more on the race to get kids ready for a return to classrooms this fall.
13-year-old Hamza Salama and his older brother are happy to be fully vaccinated.
Honestly, just seeing my friends, playing soccer again, just doing a lot of stuff with my family and going to back to Egypt.
They joined hundreds of others this weekend at a mass vaccine clinic in Mississauga. It's all part of the efforts to get more youth between the ages of 12 and 17 fully vaccinated. Paul Sharma is the co-lead with the mass vaccination program in Peel Region. He says he's hopeful this will ensure a safe return to school in September.
Being vaccinated is the one tool that will actually keep them well, but also to prevent the risk of COVID being transmitted, but also for them to go back in person and hang out with their friends and their peers for that mental and social well-being.
This union education leader says she hopes to see reduced class sizes and more testing come September. She says the Ministry of Education needs to ensure a safe return to classrooms.
We have to be looking at ventilation and air filtration in the buildings. We are going to have to look at continued masking, I think.
The Ministry of Education says they have invested $1.6 billion in testing, cleaning, and in public health nurses for a safe return in September. This mother feels a sense of relief after lining up at the clinic with her 12-year-old daughter.
I have to be with her to give her motivation, and then to get the vaccine as well. Vaccine is really important for anybody, especially for this age. Like, she wants to go back to school. She wants to go back to the Wonderland, especially, and then go meet with her friends.
Starting Monday, all across the province of Ontario, anyone between the ages of 12 and 17 can go online and book their second Pfizer vaccine appointment. Dahlia Ashry, CBC News, Toronto.
And there's a look at Ottawa tonight, where there is rain expected this week. Sophia will be back next with a look at your long-range forecast. Stay with us. Ottawa is providing military air support to help BC control the wildfires burning across the province. There are over 170 active fires. 13 of them are considered a risk to humans and property. The province also confirmed 2 deaths from the fire that destroyed the village of Lytton, and a number of residents remain unaccounted for. Officials are concerned about even more fires due to the hot, dry conditions and from lightning strikes. And in northwestern Ontario, Sophia, as of this morning, more than 40 forest fires were burning. And according to Aviation, Forest Fire and Emergency Services, the fire hazard is high to extreme in the Thunder Bay and Nipigon districts. So let's hear a little bit more about the conditions that are allowing for these fires to burn.
Well, very similar to what we're seeing in BC. Very hot, very dry, and unfortunately the threat for more lightning to come. It's actually, some of these fires are so strong and so visible that we're actually seeing them from satellites from outer space right now, as you can see in this image. The smoke even visible from outer space. So air quality is very poor for any of the residents in the area as well. Sort of a perfect storm of variables, just like we saw in BC. Very, very hot temperatures, feeling close to 40. The threat of more lightning strikes and winds for Monday into Tuesday will be gusting 40 to 50 kilometers an hour, further fanning and spreading some of these fires. Temperatures are hot not only in the south but in the north as well. It's actually that heat dome that we saw in BC responsible for some of those hot, dry conditions out there over top of us now. It's kind of setting the prime conditions in northwestern Ontario. So the risk of storms and more lightning, unfortunately, is there in the north. And we talked about that same storm risk on Monday for us here in the south as well. It'll be there for Monday and into Tuesday. We've had more of a wetter setup over the past few days, especially Friday into Saturday. So we'll see that potential for storms Monday overnight and afternoon, and then Tuesday as well. The pattern gets broken by wetter and cooler and much less sunny Wednesday into Thursday. Enjoy the more refreshing feeling midweek. Maribel.
All right, we'll hang in for a couple of days. Thanks, Sophia.
You're welcome.
And that's our show for you tonight. Thanks for watching. You can stay caught up on news anytime on our website, cbcnews.ca. Have a great night, everyone.